America had muscle. Europe had luxury. But Japan? Japan had something nobody saw coming. Engineers who worked quietly, obsessively, and without asking for anyone's permission. They didn't copy what already existed. They built what nobody had imagined yet. These weren't just fast cars. These were statements. And today, we're counting down 8 Japanese machines that didn't just compete with the world's best. They made the world's best feel embarrassed. Stay till the end, because number 1 changed the entire supercar industry forever. Car number 8. Subaru Impreza WRX STI. From the outside, just a normal sedan, the kind your neighbor drives to work. But open the hood and everything changes. A turbocharged boxer engine, Subaru's legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive, and rally-bred suspension underneath a body that looked completely ordinary. That was the joke and the genius of the STI. 0 to 100 in around 5 seconds, from something that could carry groceries home. Colin McRae won the World Rally Championship in one, on gravel, in the rain, against factory teams with bigger budgets and famous names. The WRX STI didn't look like a weapon. That was exactly the point. Car number 7. Honda NSX. Honda's engineers visited Ferrari's factory in 1989, studied everything, drove their cars, came back to Japan and said, "We can do this better." What they built had a mid-engine layout, something reserved for exotic supercars. Perfect weight distribution, razor-sharp cornering, Ferrari-level performance with Japanese reliability. But the real story? Ayrton Senna, the greatest Formula One driver alive, personally helped develop the chassis. Suspension tuned to his feedback, steering refined by his hands. Ferrari's sales dropped after the NSX launched. Italy noticed. The whole world noticed. One Japanese car from a company known for making family vehicles had shaken the foundation of supercar culture. Car number 6. Toyota Celica GT4. For most cars are built for perfect conditions. Dry roads, clear skies, smooth tarmac. The Celica GT4 was built for everything else. Gravel, mud, snow, rain, surfaces where other cars simply gave up, the GT4 found grip and kept pushing. Born directly from rally racing, its turbocharged engine and all-wheel drive system gave it traction that felt almost unfair. On the World Rally stage, it proved that Toyota wasn't just building commuter cars, they were building weapons dressed as road cars. Speed wasn't a feature here, it was a guarantee, regardless of what the road threw at it. Car number 5. Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. In the early 1990s, most performance cars were simple. Big engine, rear-wheel drive, go fast in a straight line. Mitsubishi looked at that formula and decided to tear it apart. The VR4 came with all-wheel drive, 4-wheel steering, active aerodynamics that adjusted automatically at speed, and electronically controlled suspension, technologies that felt like science fiction in 1991. Its twin-turbo V6 produced massive torque, but it wasn't just about acceleration, it was about control, precision. The VR4 could carve through corners with surgical accuracy while still launching hard enough to push you back in your seat. This wasn't brute force. This was Japanese engineering showing off and having every right. Car number 4. Nissan 300ZX Twin Turbo. 1989, Nissan unveiled something nobody expected. A car that was luxurious enough to cruise in comfort, but violent enough to embarrass pure sports cars at a traffic light. Its 3.0-liter V6 twin-turbo engine pushed nearly 300 horsepower, 0 to 100 in around 5 seconds. But what separated the 300ZX from everything else was balance. It didn't just go fast in straight lines, it handled corners with equal confidence. Soft enough for daily driving, aggressive enough for the track. That combination, at that price, simply didn't exist before the 300ZX arrived. The world had underestimated Nissan. The 300ZX made sure that never happened again. Car number 3. Mazda RX7 FD. Every other car on this list uses pistons. The RX-7 laughed at pistons. Mazda's 1.3B rotary engine had no pistons, triangular rotors spinning in a way that produced power smoother, lighter, and at higher revs than any conventional engine. Twin turbos on top of that rotary screamed to 8,000 RPM with a sound unlike anything else on Earth.
But the real genius was the chassis, near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution, suspension so carefully tuned that professional drivers described it as one of the most naturally balanced cars ever built. It didn't overpower corners, it danced through them. Lightweight, precise, different from everything else in existence. The RX7 FD wasn't just a fast car, it was a philosophy, and decades later, nothing has quite replaced it. Car number 2, Toyota Supra MK4. There are fast cars, there are reliable cars, and then there is the Supra MK4, a car so overbuilt it almost doesn't make sense. The 2JZ GTE engine, 320 horsepower stock, but Toyota's engineers had built it with such strong internals that tuners quickly discovered something extraordinary. With just a bigger turbo and a tune, 600 horsepower was achievable without touching anything inside the engine. Push further and 1,000 horsepower became real. Professional drag racers who had spent decades with American V8s switched to the 2JZ because it simply handled power better than anything else available. Paul Walker's orange Supra in Fast and Furious introduced it to a generation that had never heard of it. Prices exploded. A car that originally cost $40,000 now sells for over $100,000 because legends appreciate, they never depreciate. Car number 1, Nissan Skyline GTR R34. They called it Godzilla, not because it was big, because it destroyed everything in its path. The RB26 twin-turbo engine, officially 276 horsepower, Japan's gentleman's agreement number. In reality, always more, always pushing beyond what was declared. Nissan's Atessa all-wheel drive system transferred power to whichever wheel needed grip the most, which meant at any speed on any corner, control was never truly lost. 0 to 100 in under 5 seconds. In the late 1990s, that put it alongside cars costing 3 times the price. Australia banned the R32 from racing because it was winning everything too completely. Officials literally rewrote the rules to keep Skylines out of competition. That's not a scandal, that's a legacy. The R34 became the final chapter of a bloodline that had been terrifying racetracks since the 1970s. When production ended in 2002, enthusiasts across the world mourned like something irreplaceable had been lost, because it had. The R34 wasn't just the fastest Japanese muscle car ever built. It was proof that when Japanese engineers decided to make something truly great, nobody could stop them. 8 cars, 8 different ways Japan rewrote the rules of performance. From a grocery getter that started a global movement to a monster that got banned for being too dominant, Japan never asked for permission. They just built greatness and let the results speak. Which one is your favorite? Drop it in the comments below. And if you think there's a car that deserved to be on this list, tell me, because this conversation is far from over.